Beijing's assistance to the Liberal Party,
of China's interference in Canadian elections,
Justin Trudeau and the Chinese Communist government,
the Chinese Communist Party regime's interference.
I think the honey trap fits the MO of the Chinese.
all based on leaked information from anonymous intelligence officials.
Are you kidding me?
stemming from jab.
So I am telling you, you got to conduct an investigation. No doctor can make a medical diagnosis simply by looking at such a piece of paper. I'm saying that you must look at the medical reports and do a proper investigation. There's no question about it. Stop the bad science and do the right science. That's enough. Looks like you're trying to destroy evidence.
Ursula von der Leyen has a doctorate in medicine. Her maiden name is Albrecht, and her husband Heiko is medical director of Orgenesis, a U.S. biotech company specializing in gene therapies such as Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. She has been on its scientific council since 2019 and has held her position since September last year. Pfizer and Orgenesis have a very close relationship.
This week, a number of news outlets are reporting that the FDA is poised to do something that they hadn't anticipated doing. They're going to give another emergency use authorization to a second bivalent booster. So if you're keeping score at home, this means that an elderly person may now be eligible for 5 regular Wuhan vaccine doses and then 2 more bivalent doses, bringing the grand total to 7 doses of COVID-19 vaccine.
Dr. Plotkin, has there ever been a study which looked at the total health outcomes of children following the CDC's vaccination schedule and those who are completely unvaccinated, such as Faith?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
So we've heard twice today that 20 million lives have been saved due to these mRNA injections. How exactly did you arrive at that number, and could you please share all the available documentation supporting this claim?
America has pissed off the rest of the world. We've been the bully with this thing. We're now a credit-based economy. In other words, we print fake money and we spread it throughout the world. But the rest of the world is actually producing the food, the gold, the silver, the machinery, and all this. So finally, the rest of the world said enough's enough. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That was the original BRICS. And now they're gaining force.
People in the jails, they can hang them to their neck. Nothing gonna make any difference because they're just puppets. And you are putting your pressure on Trudeau. Oh, we need to get rid of Trudeau. He's just a puppet. They will bring some news here tomorrow for you. So we need to be focused on our personal responsibilities. In past few hundred years, they make us lazy by creating a system that's going to take care of you, planet, and everything, environment. You just do your job, make babies, and get to retire, enjoy your life. So as a human, we have responsibilities. That is our purpose. This earth, this universe is our home, and we have our duties. So we have to recognize those duties.
Let's get ready to spread False alarm.
False alarm.
I got an itchy trigger finger tonight. Got a itchy triger finder.
Nice.
Yeah. So 2 things. We got to finish that song.
We do.
Oh, it sounds so good, man. It gets me pumped every time.
I know. I'm like, where's the vocals?
Yeah, vocals. we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Soon. And 2, we do need some rain pictures, man. Looking at that picture that comes up each time, I'm like, ugh.
It's horrible.
This is all I got, man.
I'll get you some.
That's all I got. I got to do a photo shoot with Mrs. Rain.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet things. How's Yukon rocking these days?
Hot. Yeah, it's very hot. It's been hot for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's like sweating. Like I'm sweating every day hot. Yeah.
Damn. Cool up here.
Yeah.
Cool
really
down here, that is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm acclimatized, so anything over 23, 24 degrees is hot, but
yes.
I think
it's all relative.
We're 30 today, I think. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing headlines on how climate change is exploding the Yukon.
Yeah.
Hottest summer ever.
Hottest summer ever.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the climate change is a tough sell in Canada. We're like, give her.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. Yeah.
Winter, absolutely.
Move 10 million more people up a degree or 2 north. Let's do it. Let's spread it. All right. Well, it's good to be back. Been a while since we've done a duo show. Things have been a little complicated lately.
Yeah, I've been busy trying to, have experience life. So yeah.
You're Max busy, and there's been lots of more kind of offline stuff going on.
Right.
And things like that. I had an interview with Sean Buckley from NCI yesterday. We taped that. We're gonna be showing that soon, so that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Fantastic interview.
Yeah. What a dude.
Yeah.
And just keeping the NCI tradition, we're gonna talk to Michelle Leduc Catlin from the NCI. NCI spokesperson is with us tonight. She's been conducting all the one-on-one interviews officially for the channel. And we shared the press desk. I, as the official NCI social media ambassador, I'll have you know.
Nice.
I got to take coffee in.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah. They're like, remember once they stopped me at the door? They're like, you can't go in with coffee, and I was like, I can.
Right.
Teresa said so.
Yeah.
I know my constitutional rights. So without any further ado, you and I can catch up a bit after the interview. We'll bring Michelle in. Y'all ready?
All right.
Now let's go. Well, hi there, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Well, hi there. I first have to say, I want a copy of that intro because that's the coolest thing anybody's ever done with my picture.
Sure.
You bet. Yep. It's $100 a second.
Well, we're citizen funded, so you might want to cut us a deal.
Yeah, all right. I'm a softie. I'm a softie at heart.
I was laughing when you were talking in Ottawa because it was the only, for whatever reason, I guess the hotel rule was no coffee. And I had the exact same experience. Someone stopped me and said, you can't bring that in. I said, oh, yes, I can.
Teresa said so.
Went through all of that of 3 days without coffee.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't want to see Teresa mad. You better let me in.
My friend just walked in the room. We're live, just so you know. That's Dennis. It's his house.
Hey, Dennis. Cool farmer guy. Love that room. Amazing look. Amazing look you got there.
This one right here?
And,
No,
and
the
the room's not bad either.
Yeah.
you know I'm
What's
being
it say?
interviewed, right?
Oh, sorry.
It says, "Be nice to your children. They choose your nursing home."
Yeah, good point.
I'll let you carry on with your interview. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries.
No worries.
Take care.
Yeah, he's all right for a farmer. You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so Michelle, you have been the spokesperson for the NCI since day one. We'll get to that. Let's get a little rundown on Michelle Leduc Catlin. First, why do you have 3 names?
Don't we all?
Yes, I have more than 3 names. I have a first name that I don't use. But my
Catholic?
whole career. No, it's just I just don't like it as much as my middle name. So, you know.
Oh, what is it?
Most of my career in television was with my maiden name, Leduc, and then I got married and took Catlin, but my whole career was as Leduc. So people in my field knew me as Michelle Leduc. So therefore, I just use both names professionally.
Right. So that makes sense. You've been a television personality, actress. You have an IMDb page.
I do have. It's a little sad because I ended up leaving. Sorry. So
that's all right. We can barely hear it. The mic can't.
Okay, good.
Is good.
Started out in television as a story producer. Then I became a reporter and then a television host, and then I changed to acting. And then I got chronic fatigue. So I was sick for 13 years, and 7 years I couldn't work. So I was just starting to build a career when all of that happened. So it's a tiny IMDb page.
Yeah, but it is one. I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. I mean, working on it, I guess, but that's something. So yeah, you've done short films, a little like TV show for a while, didn't you?
I had a show. I actually hosted a ballroom dance show for the Women's Network.
Oh, rad. I've always wanted to take that.
It's very fun. Okay, so little my farmer friend does ballroom dancing, does like salsa and merengue and Latin dancing.
Yeah, it's magical. I mean, I'm single again after like 13 years, so I mean, there's nothing like being able to dance to be able to kind of work it, you know.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very hot.
They got dance lessons up in Whitehorse, Kev?
Oh, probably.
Rain. You ever looked into it?
No. Probably exists.
It's a hard no.
I'd pay money to see that.
See me dance?
Yeah,
Sure.
man. Yeah, you'd be great at it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll need a partner at first, so
right.
We'll
There
work
you go.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find yourself, you're puttering along in your career one day, COVID hits. You were doing a wellness kind of website and services, right?
Kind of, yeah. So what happened was I got into acting. I just started freelancing as a writer because I'd always written for television. I'd written in other people's voices. So, some of the television hosts you might be familiar with, when they would write in their voice. When I got sick, I used journaling to really work through everything that I was going through. And it was so powerful that, first of all, I found my own voice for the first time after writing professionally for a couple of decades. I found my voice and I had to work through what I was experiencing, because anybody who's had long-term illness or even long-term fatigue understands that it's really difficult. And so I started journaling and sharing what I was writing in a blog, and then started showing people how to journal for their own spiritual, personal growth. I started leading online guided journaling classes and sharing some of my experience as somebody who studied ontology and philosophy and spirituality. So I was doing all of that. And then when all of the COVID stuff hit, because I had for so long, I had for 7 years been doing daily health research. So I was getting proper information, the cutting edge health people that I was following, I was getting really good information. I thought, well, people just need access to this, right? So I was pretty naive, many of us in the beginning. And I thought I'll just share that information with some friends. And then I heard Trudeau say vaccine passport, and that was it. That was it. I shut down the website, I rebooted it, and started writing full time about COVID all the time because I couldn't even a possibility in this country.
You're speaking, of course, of when he went on television to say that Canada would never do a vaccine mandate, right?
Well, yeah, but then there was the complete.
Then there was the opposite. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned, and still to this day, it's still difficult. There's still cognitive dissonance for me. When I would walk in my neighborhood and see people in restaurants, and the Jews are out here. Like, how are you with that? It's still people. I know in the beginning people found that a horrific comparison, and yet there have been Jewish people who have spoken out and made that comparison. And of course, now there are many more comparisons. But just that, to segregate people.
Yeah.
With
yes, absolutely.
passport.
Are you aware of Scott Shara? Grace's dad had a mentally challenged daughter. Yeah, we had him on the show here. He is in the Midwest somewhere, and they basically forcefully, insistingly killed his daughter in front of them in the hospital. We're still on YouTube, so I don't want to go into too much detail. We're going to drop YouTube once we get into the truth about certain diseases, yada yada. But we're interesting in that we have like a big following on YouTube, but we can't say anything there. We're on our second strike. If we get struck again, the channel's gone. So we play a little dance where we start on YouTube, and then once our conversation gets interesting, we turn that off. So Rain is the black-pilled one, so he'll be watching. He's got his finger on the cancel button there.
This is good to know.
Yeah, but as you said, I was bringing up Scott Shara. Why was I bringing that up? Where were we at?
You said that they killed his child.
Yeah. I just can't remember how it was tying into what you were saying. I went on a little bit of a sidetrack there.
Well, I'm about how the comparison of papers where in Nazi Germany Jews weren't allowed in certain establishments, and here we are.
Yes. So he just made a film. He just made a film with a film producer, and that features a 95-year-old Holocaust survivor, and she's almost the bulk of the movie, and she just sits and makes comparison after comparison to exactly what happened in Germany. They're not shy about it, but I mean, good luck trying to bring up the comparisons. Yes, that sounds right. Yeah. And I got to watch that live stream of them premiering the movie, and she was there herself too and spoke as well. And I mean, they're not shy about it. They see it right away. But good luck trying to make the comparisons. I mean, what's her name from Disney? She got fired for making that comparison at the start of COVID, right? Rain, what was her name? The Mandalorian?
Gina Carano?
Gina Carano, yeah. She got fired from the show, from the Star Wars show, for one single tweet that just pointed out what happens if you institutionalize othering. If you make a class that is other, this is where it can lead. And that's all her tweet said. And she was fired from the only successful Star Wars show, the only show that wasn't ruining the franchise. And she was one of the only characters who the people were buying the toys. They really liked her, and they fired her for that tweet. Wild. When it's obvious, when it is plainly, openly obvious. So you see the vitriol and the anger, the violence, the hatred that was being directed towards those of us that weren't down with the juice, so to speak.
Well, these people think they have the moral high ground, right? So, and they truly believe that.
Yeah.
So they just it's hard to get past that brainwashing. I mean, in a way, I understand it, right? But you know, it still doesn't make it right.
We can understand it in a universe where the juice did something, and there was a threat that was real. Right? There was an existential threat to humanity, and there was this one device that could stop it. And there's a bunch of jerks going around going like, QAnon told me not to use it. And you're like, you're going to kill my kids. But that wasn't reality. There was no threat. The juice didn't do anything. Well, it did stuff, but it didn't stop it. So, the whole thing was ludicrous, but everyone's still to this day holding on to that narrative. And somehow can hold the two thoughts in their head, because of course I get in a lot of arguments on Twitter with these people, and they somehow still hold the two in their head. You're going to kill grandma because you don't support the juice, but also that it doesn't stop the spread, because that was only a couple weeks where they were able to float that boat and immediately had to drop that. But they can hold the two in their minds, and you're still a QAnon right-wing extremist racist grandma killer for promoting questioning the juice. But at the same time, the juice does nothing except for they hold on, they cling to that it reduces hospital stays. Yeah. But then it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not killing your grandma. If I go to the hospital for longer, I'm not killing anybody.
Right from the beginning, it was stunning that the whole idea that you would take a vaccine for someone else, even the beginning, it was like, when did we start doing that? I mean, I take a vaccine if I want to protect myself, and if you want self, you take it. So it's just that alone.
It does stem quickly from that. You are trying to stop the spread of a pandemic disease, though, right?
But how would, if yours works, take it and it works, how am I a threat?
Yeah.
Well, exactly, right. I mean, it's the equivalent of saying, you better go get a tetanus shot so I don't get tetanus.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and what was the craziest thing about it was they didn't even try to really convince people. I mean, a little bit, I suppose they did, but they quickly backtracked on stuff like that. As Jay said, they didn't try to convince people that you were going to be instantly immune and unable to spread the disease if you did get the vax. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the whole thing was crazy. That they managed to convince people to do it as if you were going to be protecting your neighbor.
Well, that first couple of weeks, though, where you had everyone from Biden to all the major political figures saying it, sometimes with saying it, but sometimes without quite saying it, that it absolutely would stop the disease. Mm-hmm. They absolutely, clearly, for a couple of weeks, told us that it 100% would.
That's right, 100%.
I guess. Yeah, I guess what Michelle was saying is even if that was true, then if you truly believe that, then just go get the shot yourself. It doesn't matter if other people take it or not.
Yeah, right. Grandma got the shot, so
she's exactly. So
she's covered. Yeah. Right? If anything, they should cheer while the QAnons die of the disease, right? Because we're idiots.
Yeah.
Well, there was some of that.
Well, there certainly was, right? But even that was manufactured. I did a video. I think I still got a little QR code for it. There we go. The answer to it all, based off of Dr. David Martin's speech, that tells you that there's a PR company, one of the biggest in the world, and like the best PR companies. You've never heard of them. They're called Forest Marsh. and it sounds eerily like forced march. Yeah, slight coincidence there. Force march. And they are the ones that went out and put together all the stories that all the newspapers and media got all at once about conservative radio talk show host dies of COVID, and the stuff that at the time we've got a app on Flipboard, which is like a news aggregate, and just assaulted with this stuff right at the crucial time, right when the information was coming out that maybe these things didn't work. Just a waves upon wave of conservative arsehole dies of COVID. His last words are begging everyone to reconsider and stuff. And of course, very quickly, the stories all fell apart. To find out they were total bullcrap. Their families came out and said this never happened, but it doesn't matter. The word got out there. Magazines, these little shit website news sites could put all those headlines up, and everybody would eat it up. Oh yeah, that fat Southern hick radio jerk died of COVID. Ah, ha, 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 right? And the reality is that we're all sitting here normal and healthy. They're the ones now that have to deal with the juice results.
I think this is the saddest part of all of this is it's brought out just the worst in us as human beings.
Yes.
I think that's was maybe the hardest pill to swallow during all the testimony was the cruelty towards people who were unvaccinated, towards people who were, just absolute cruelty.
And these well-meaning doctors going about their normal routine of diagnosing and prescribing and stuff, and then just attacked mercilessly, from Charles Hoff to Daniel Nagase, Patrick Phillips. We had all those guys that we had on. They've had or still have big court cases coming, fighting for their license.
Yeah.
And like, as you said, the abject cruelty displayed is just beyond belief for these guys, especially I think for each of them. Not 100% sure. I can't remember on Charles Hoff for sure, but Nagase and Phillips were attacked retroactively. When they did what they did, there were no rules. Even with the evil College of Physicians, there were no rules against what they did. They were acting as normal doctors would.
Yeah.
It was only weeks or months later that they put out their notices that you can't do this, you can't prescribe that. Is YouTube off now?
I don't know. It still seems to be going.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky. Okay.